The Lakers are rolling right now. The Lakers have been on a tear because their numbers keep backing it up. They're sitting at number 1 in field goal percentage, hitting a smooth 51.0%. And they've been even better when they attack because they're also number 1 in field goal percentage on drives at 58.8%. Their guards are pouring in, pull-up scoring, ranking number 3 with 26.1 points per game. They've owned the paint too, getting 45.4% of their points inside, which sits at number 4. And they're closing games by shooting 87.5% from the line. But when we talk about the Lakers, we have to talk about some individual players. And of course, we got to start with Luka. Luka's season has turned into one long avalanche of production because every single stat keeps showing how wild his impact really is. He's sitting at 35.2 points per game, and that alone puts him ahead of more than 100% of players in pure scoring volume, which is unbelievable to watch unfold night after night. His points per field goal sit at 1.1, built from 7.2 made 2-pointers and 3.7 made 3-pointers on 23.1 attempts, and that efficiency pushes him ahead of more than 56% of the league. His effective field goal percentage at 55% keeps proving how well he controls every shot he takes, especially when possession starts slowing down, and it builds the base for everything he does as a scorer. His true shooting percentage climbs even higher at 62.1%, which beats more than 73% of players and shows how strong he's been at mixing his outside shooting with his ability to draw contact. His points per scoring attempt, reaching 1.2, highlights how clean his scoring process has been, especially with 35.2 points coming from 23.1 shots and 12.4 free throws per game. He's turning every trip into something meaningful, and when you add it all up, he's outperforming more than 92% of players in scoring efficiency. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, the mixed teamwork impact lands at 92%. And when you start digging into everything tied to that metric, it gets even louder. His offensive rating sits at 123.0, his defense rating at 115.4, and that gives him a net rating of plus 7.6. That means his team gains real margin when he's out there. And the numbers back that up with 69.2% of his games showing a positive plus minus. His on-off difference is plus 6.2, which pushes him ahead of more than 98% of players in how much his minutes change the flow of games. His ball handling ranks at 98%, and you feel that instantly when you look at the combination of 9.2 assists and 4.2 turnovers. His assist percentage sits at 40.27%, meaning he's assisting 40% of the shots his teammates hit while he's on the floor, and he's creating 21.7 points per game just off passing alone. That puts him ahead of more than 98% of players as a creator. Even with that insane workload, his turnover percentage rests at 12.8%, which beats more than 44% of players and stays controlled, considering how many actions he touches. He's ending 28.3 scoring attempts and turnovers per game, and keeping the ball moving at this level just adds even more weight to everything he's doing. On the defense side, Luka's mixed team defense grade hits 87%, showing that even while carrying one of the largest offensive roles in the league, he's still helping slow opponents down. He's getting 1.9 steals, half a block, 7.9 defensive rebounds, and playing within a team defensive efficiency of 115.4. Those numbers push him ahead of more than 87% of players defensively when combining individual and team influence. His rebounding has stayed strong too. He's grabbing 8.8 boards per game, which ranks above more than 33% of players overall, but his defensive rebound percentage at 21.73% shoots him all the way above more than 92% of the league. His 7.9 defensive rebounds each night keep those possessions alive, and while his offensive rebound percentage sits at 2.58%, he still pulls nearly 1 offensive rebound a game, which keeps the pressure on opposing bigs. And then there's the usage. His rate at 37.4% is higher than more than 99% of players, showing how much responsibility he takes every single possession. He's logging 23.1 field goal attempts, 12.4 free throws, 9.2 passes leading directly to shots, and 4.2 turnovers, while playing 77.2 total possessions per game. That combination of scoring, passing, and ball handling gives him one of the biggest offensive roles in the entire league, and he keeps turning that workload into elite efficiency across every category. Every single number on the page says the same thing. Luke is carrying one of the heaviest loads in basketball while still putting up elite scoring, elite efficiency, elite creation, strong defense metrics, and one of the highest all-around impacts of any player this season. But then we'll talk about LeBron. LeBron is 40 years old in his 23rd season. And even though he's only played 3 games so far while working through sciatica to start the year, the numbers already show how sharp he still looks. He's putting up 17.7 points per game, which ranks ahead of more than 85% of players, and that alone shows how steady his scoring has remained. His points per field goal sit at 1.2, built from 5.7 made 2-pointers and 1.3 made 3-pointers on 13.3 attempts, giving him an effective field goal percentage of 57.5%. That places him ahead of more than 69% of the league, and it proves he's still picking his spots with real efficiency. His true shooting percentage climbs to 58.9%, ranking higher than more than 57% of players. And that level of scoring efficiency comes from balancing 13.3 shots with 4 free throws per game while still producing 1.2 points per scoring attempt. He's not taking on the crazy volume he did in earlier seasons, but every possession he touches still turns into something productive, and that efficiency matters when he's easing back into his rhythm after missing time. The mixed teamwork metric sits at 33%, and while that's not built to be eye-catching this early, the details inside the metric show what he's doing on both ends. His offensive rating sits at 127.5, which is extremely high, and his defense rating sits at 125.6. That gives him a net rating of plus 1.9. He's posting a positive plus-minus in 66.7% of his games so far, and even though the on-off number is at minus 7.7, the sample size is incredibly small. At only 3 games, the overall picture still shows that he's making good things happen in the possessions he plays, especially on the offensive end, where he's still one of the league's sharpest decision makers. His ball handling metric is where things jump off the page. He ranks in the 99% range, and that's built from 8.7 assists and only 2 turnovers per game. That combination pushes him ahead of more than 99% of players as a handler and initiator. His assist percentage sits at 36.62%, and that means more than 1/3 of his teammates' field goals while he's on the court are coming directly from his passes. He's creating 19.7 points per game through passing alone, and that keeps him ahead of more than 97% of the league as a playmaker. Even his turnover percentage sits at 11.76%, which beats more than 54% of players. And that's impressive, given how often the ball is in his hands relative to the limited minutes he's played so far. On the defense side, his mixed team defense metric is at 37%. He's putting up 1 steal, 0.3 blocks, and 4.3 defensive rebounds per game, and his team defensive efficiency with him on the court sits at 125.6. That places him ahead of more than 37% of players defensively, and while that's not elite at this stage, he's still contributing on that end, especially considering he's coming back from a physical issue that limits quick burst movement. The rebounding numbers show the same steady veteran pattern. He's grabbing 5 rebounds per game, which puts him higher than more than 62% of players. 4.3 of those are defensive rebounds, and 0.7 are offensive rebounds. His offensive rebound percentage sits at 2.44%, placing him ahead of more than 31% of players, but his defensive rebound percentage rises to 14.77%, which places him ahead of more than 68% of the league. He's not playing above the rim like he did in his prime, but he's still securing keyboards and ending possessions consistently. Then there's his usage. At 22.8%, he's ahead of more than 77% of players, and that usage rate is built from 13.3 shots, 4 free throws, 8.7 passes, leading directly to shots, and 2 turnovers across 66.7 possessions per game. His responsibility is still significant, but he's clearly managing his workload while recovering and saving energy for the moments that matter. That blend of scoring, passing, and control lets him stay efficient without forcing anything, and it shows how well he adapts his game to whatever the situation requires. Across every area, the story stays the same. Even at 40 years old, even in his 23rd season, and even after playing only 3 games while recovering from sciatica, LeBron is still producing elite passing, strong scoring efficiency, controlled decision-making, solid rebounding, and reliable impact in limited minutes. The numbers show he's still influencing games on both ends, still elevating the offense with his playmaking, and still finding ways to remain effective while easing back into the season. But what about Reeves? Austin Reeves has come out firing this season, and every number on the page keeps proving how explosive his start has been. He's putting up 27.9 points per game, which puts him ahead of more than 97% of players in scoring. That scoring volume already puts him in the elite group of high-usage offensive engines, and it shows how comfortable he's become carrying possessions. His points per field goal sit at 1.1, built from 6.1 made 2-pointers and 2.4 made threes on 17.2 attempts. That combination gives him an effective field goal percentage of 56.9%, placing him ahead of more than 66% of players. He's finding his rhythm from every spot on the floor, and that efficiency sets the tone for the rest of his game. His true shooting percentage climbs all the way to 64.4%, beating more than 80% of players. That number shows how well he blends his shooting with his ability to generate free throws. He's taking 17.25 field goal attempts and 9.4 free throws per night, and he converts those into 1.3 points per scoring attempt. That's elite efficiency for a player taking on heavy volume, and it's one of the biggest reasons his scoring has jumped so sharply. He's become reliable no matter what the possession demands, whether it's a pull-up jumper, a drive, or a trip to the line. The mixed teamwork impact metric pushes him even higher. He's grading out ahead of more than 94% of players in that category, and his offensive and defensive numbers inside that metric highlight how much he's impacting both ends. His offensive rating sits at 121.2, and his defense rating sits at 111.9. That gives him a net rating of plus 9.3, which shows that the Lakers are genuinely gaining margin when he's on the floor. He's posting a positive plus-minus in 64.3% of his games, and his on-off impact sits at plus 9.1. That pushes him ahead of more than 94% of players in terms of how much his presence shifts the scoreboard. His ball handling ranks at 96%, and that's built through both the volume he handles and the control he plays with. He's averaging 7 assists and 3.2 turnovers, which keeps him ahead of more than 96% of players as a handler and creator. His assist percentage sits at 29.17%, meaning nearly 1/3 of his teammates' field goals, while he's on the court, come directly from his passes. He's producing 16.1 points per game through his playmaking alone. That's elite secondary creation, and it gives his scoring even more value because defenses can't just collapse on him without paying a price. His turnover percentage sits at 12.93%, placing him ahead of more than 44% of players. That's strong ball security for someone making 21.6 scoring attempts and turnovers per game. On the defense side, his mixed team defense metric ranks ahead of more than 90% of players. He's generating 1.4 steals, 0.1 blocks, and 4.9 defensive rebounds per game. And the team's defensive efficiency with him on the floor sits at 111.9. Those numbers show that he's holding his own on that end, creating turnovers and finishing possessions while keeping the team scheme stable. His defensive contributions combine with his offensive efficiency to lift his overall impact, and it's a big part of why his net rating is so strong. His rebounding has also taken a nice jump. He's averaging 5.7 boards per game, beating more than 60% of players overall. That includes 4.9 defensive rebounds and 0.9 offensive rebound. His offensive rebound percentage sits at 2.64%, putting him ahead of more than 35% of the league, and his defensive rebound percentage sits at 13.33%, ranking him ahead of more than 58% of players. Those numbers matter because they show that he's not just scoring or passing, he's finishing plays physically, keeping defensive possessions alive, and creating extra opportunities on offense. His usage rate rounds out the picture. At 29.3%, he's ahead of more than 94% of players, and that usage is built through 17.2 shots, 9.4 free throws, 7 assists, and 3.2 turnovers across 75.3 total possessions per game. He's being asked to control a huge share of the offense, and instead of slowing down under that responsibility, he's turning it into one of the strongest statistical starts of any guard in the league. His combination of scoring, efficiency, passing, and reliable decision-making holds up under every metric, and the team impact numbers show how much his minutes are shaping games. When you look at everything together, the picture is clear. Reeves is scoring at an elite rate, generating high-level efficiency, running offense as a top-tier handler, passing at a near-star level, holding his own on defense, rebounding well for his position, and posting one of the strongest net ratings among high-usage guards. Every stat line keeps telling the same story. He's playing the best basketball of his career, and he's doing it across scoring, creation, efficiency, defensive impact, and usage all at once. But then let's talk about Ayton. DeAndre Ayton's start to the season has been built on pure efficiency, and every number he's putting up keeps proving how polished his interior game has become. He's scoring 15.5 points per game, and that production places him ahead of more than 80% of players. He's not doing it through heavy volume either. His scoring is coming from smart, controlled touches where he maximizes every attempt. His points per field goal sit at 1.4, built from 7.3, made 2-pointers on 10.5 attempts. He hasn't taken a 3 this season, and that makes his effective field goal percentage of 69.6% even more impressive. That number puts him ahead of more than 90% of the league, and the efficiency shows how well he's finishing everything around the basket. His true shooting percentage lands at 69.4%, which ranks ahead of more than 89% of players. That efficiency comes from converting 10.5 field goal attempts and 1.5 free throws per game into 1.4 points per scoring attempt. His ability to keep his scoring clean without forcing low-quality shots is exactly why his numbers are climbing in all the major efficiency categories. He's consistently making the right reads around the rim, finding high-percentage looks, and using his touch to turn almost every paint touch into something productive. Ayton's mixed teamwork impact sits at 48%, which places him pretty much right in the middle of the league. The details behind that number show a clear picture of how his presence affects possessions both ways. His offensive rating is 118.3, and his defense rating is 116.8, leaving him with a net rating of plus 1.5. He's posting a positive plus-minus in 46.7% of his games so far. And while his on-off number sits at minus 1.7, the overall performance shows that he's giving his team solid value when he's on the floor. The balance between his scoring efficiency and his defensive activity helps keep him in a steady impact zone. On the defensive side, he ranks ahead of more than 77% of players in mixed team defense. His impact there is powered by 0.7 steals, 0.9 blocks, and 5.6 defensive rebounds per game. His team defensive efficiency while he's on the floor sits at 116.8. Those numbers show that he's staying active, contesting shots, and anchoring possessions with solid positioning. While he's not putting up huge block totals, he's still helping the defense by controlling space in the paint and cleaning the glass. Speaking of the glass, his rebounding numbers have been outstanding. He's averaging 8.4 rebounds per game, ranking ahead of more than 93% of players. His 5.6 defensive rebounds and 2.8 offensive rebounds each night show that he's impacting both ends of the floor. His offensive rebound percentage sits at 10.82%, putting him ahead of more than 88% of the league. That's a massive number, and it highlights how often he's generating extra possessions. His defensive rebound percentage sits at 19.49%, also ranking ahead of more than 88% of players. His combined rebounding presence makes him one of the strongest glass cleaners at his position right now. His usage rate sits at 19.8%, placing him ahead of 63% of players. That usage comes from 10.5 field goal attempts, 1.5 free throws, 0.9 assists, and 2.4 turnovers across 60.6 possessions per game. He's not handling the ball as much as primary scorers or creators, but he's using his touches efficiently and keeping his mistakes relatively low. His role is built on finishing, rebounding, and staying in the play, and he's maximizing that lane with one of the most efficient starts he's had. Ayton's scoring efficiency remains the foundation of everything he's doing. When a big shoots nearly 70% in both effective field goal percentage and true shooting percentage, it means they're leveraging their strengths perfectly. He's using his touch, his size, and his timing to convert nearly every high percentage look. The numbers show he's not wasting possession. He's staying in his zone, focusing on the areas that generate strong value, and giving his team positive offensive returns nearly every time he's involved in a play. Defensively, his impact pairs nicely with his rebounding. The presence he brings in the paint helps anchor the scheme, and his ability to consistently finish defensive possessions with the rebound remains one of the most valuable parts of his game. His offensive rebounding keeps pressure on opposing bigs, and his defensive rebounding stabilizes possessions that could otherwise lead to second-chance points. That balance gives him a reliable baseline of value every night. The usage rate shows he's not dominating possessions, but his impact comes from efficiency, not volume. He's finishing plays at an elite rate, crashing the boards at a top-tier level, and providing steady defensive contributions. His strong net rating, team impact metrics, and scoring efficiency combine to form a clear picture. Ayton is thriving in a streamlined role built on clean scoring, heavy rebounding, and solid defensive work. Every number reinforces the same idea. He's giving his team high-value touches, strong paint production, and steady interior presence while maintaining elite efficiency across all the major categories. But then we got Rui. Rui's season has been built on clean scoring, sharp efficiency, and a steady impact that keeps showing up every time you check the numbers. He's putting up 14.9 points per game, which places him ahead of more than 78% of players. And that's coming without a heavy usage load. He's scoring in a controlled way that fits perfectly with the way the Lakers blend their offensive pieces together. His points per field goal land at 1.3, built from 3.9, made 2-pointers, and 1.8, made threes on 10.1 attempts. Those makes push his effective field goal percentage all the way to 65.7%, ranking higher than more than 88% of players. That number proves exactly how polished he's become as a finisher and spot shooter. Every touch is turning into a high-quality shot, and he's making sure possessions end with strong value. His true shooting percentage climbs even higher at 66.9%, beating more than 86% of players. He's taking 10.1 shots and 2.1 free throws each night, and he's converting those into 1.3 points per scoring attempt. That scoring efficiency stands out because he's not forcing anything or trying to dominate possessions. Instead, he's maximizing everything he gets. And that's why he keeps landing so high in the efficiency numbers. He knows which shots are his, he knows which looks work best for him, and he sticks to that formula every single game. His mixed teamwork impact sits at 79%, and that's where you really start to see how he fits into the overall structure of the team. His offensive rating comes in at 118.6, and his defense rating sits at 116.2, giving him a net rating of plus 2.3. That number shows that when he's on the floor, the team is winning those stretches. He's posted a positive plus-minus in 68.8% of his games, and his on-off number sits at plus 0.8. Those metrics highlight how well he blends scoring with spacing and off-ball reads. The lineup simply works with him on the court, and the numbers support the idea that he's quietly providing real impact in his minutes. On the defensive side, he ranks ahead of more than 49% of players in mixed team defense. He's putting up 0.6 steals, 0.3 blocks, and 3.1 defensive rebounds per game, and the team's defensive efficiency with him on the floor sits at 116.2. He's not the kind of defender who piles up highlight stats, but he stays in the right spots, covers space with discipline, and finishes possessions when needed. His presence doesn't drag the defense down, and his ability to rotate and guard multiple positions helps stabilize the schemes the Lakers run when he's out there. His rebounding numbers show a lighter load, but they're consistent with his role. He's averaging 3.9 boards per game, beating more than 34% of players overall. That breaks down into 3.1 defensive rebounds and 0.8 offensive rebounds. His offensive rebound percentage sits at 2.49%, ranking ahead of more than 32% of players, while his defensive rebound percentage at 9.45% places him ahead of more than 33% of players. Those numbers don't pop like a center's would, but they show that he's doing enough to help finish plays and keep possessions alive without being asked to crash the glass every trip. His usage rate is 15.5%, placing him ahead of more than 35% of players. That usage includes 10.1 field goal attempts, 2.1 free throws, 1.1 assists, and 1.1 turnovers across 70.1 possessions per game. His role is built to complement scores with heavier loads, and the numbers show he understands exactly how to stay efficient within that structure. He's not the player who forces shots or overdribbles. Instead, he slides into pockets, attacks clean advantages, and picks his moments with real patience. The scoring efficiency remains the strongest part of his profile. When you combine a field goal percentage this high with a true shooting percentage nearing 70%, you get a player who's maximizing every touch. His shot profile is built on smart drives, clean spot-up jumpers, and calm mid-range looks. He's not rushing his attempts, and his disciplined approach is why his scoring numbers look so sharp even without massive volume. The mixed teamwork numbers make his impact even clearer. The offense flows better with him on the court because he doesn't stop possession. He keeps the ball moving, cuts at the right time, spaces correctly, and punishes defenses that help too far off him. His net rating and plus-minus percentages show that the team consistently performs well when he checks in. Defensively, he brings steadiness and positioning. His steal and block numbers don't stand out, but his overall defensive metrics show he's contributing to team stops and completing rotations without unnecessary risk-taking. Combined with his controlled rebounding, he provides a clean and stable presence on that end. When you tie it all together, Rui's season becomes a model of efficiency and impact. He's scoring at a high level, ranking near the top of the league in shooting efficiency, blending into lineups seamlessly, contributing on defense, and using a smaller role to deliver major value. Every stat reinforces the same point. Rui is thriving by staying clean, staying efficient, and elevating possessions without needing a starring workload. But then Jake LaRavia's season has been defined by clean efficiency, steady contributions, and a role that fits exactly what his team needs from him. He's scoring 9.9 points per game, placing him ahead of more than 60% of players, and he's doing it without heavy usage or forcing tough attempts. His points per field goal sit at 1.1, built from 2.6 made two-pointers and 1.1 made threes on 7.5 attempts. Those numbers push his effective field goal percentage to 55.9%, which ranks higher than more than 62% of players. He's been selective, patient, and consistent, turning his possessions into smart, high-value shots. His true shooting percentage climbs to 58.3%, beating more than 54% of players. That number comes from 7.5 field goal attempts and 2.3 free throws a night, leading to 1.2 points per scoring attempt. He's not the player who dominates the ball or hunts every shot, but when the ball finds him, he's converting looks at an efficient rate. He's showing good balance between driving, spacing the floor, and taking advantage of defensive openings. His mixed teamwork metric sits at 50%, and the numbers inside that category paint a very clear picture of his impact. His offensive rating sits at 117.3, and his defense rating sits at 115.0, which gives him a net rating of plus 2.3. He's logging a positive plus-minus in 52.9% of his games so far. And while his on-off number sits at minus 3.2, his overall efficiency helps stabilize stretches when he checks in. The numbers show he's giving steady value without needing a large role. His ball handling metric ranks ahead of more than 65% of players. He's putting up 2.2 assists and 1.1 turnovers per game, and that combination helps him stay efficient in the flow of the offense. His assist percentage sits at 11.04%, placing him higher than more than 44% of players. He's creating 5.1 points per game through passing, and when you combine that with his low turnover numbers, it's clear he understands his role and plays within it without forcing risky passes. His turnover percentage sits at 11.11%, ahead of more than 59% of players, and that ball security has given his team reliable minutes from him offensively. Defensively, he's been one of the more quietly impactful players on the floor. His mixed team defense metric ranks ahead of more than 66% of players. He's producing 1.4 steals, 0.3 blocks, and 2.9 defensive rebounds per game. His team defensive efficiency at 115.0 shows that he's helping contribute to stops, rotations, and ball pressure. He's giving real effort on that end, and his steal rate highlights his ability to read passing lanes and disrupt plays. His rebounding numbers have also been solid for his position. He's pulling down 4.1 rebounds per game, ranking ahead of more than 50% of players overall. That includes 2.9 defensive rebounds and 1.2 offensive rebounds each night. His offensive rebound percentage sits at 4.74%, putting him ahead of more than 61% of players. He's generating extra possessions with his activity on the glass. His defensive rebound percentage sits at 10.65%, ranking ahead of more than 41% of players. He's not dominating the boards, but he's doing enough to help stabilize possessions on both ends. His usage rate is 15.1%, which places him ahead of more than 33% of players. That usage comes from 7.5 field goal attempts, 2.3 free throws, 2.2 assists, and 1.1 turnovers across 55.7 possessions per game. His role is smaller, but he's maximizing the touches he gets and staying efficient within that structure. He's not asked to create heavy offense, but he's become reliable in spot-ups, cuts, and finishing opportunities where he fits seamlessly into the flow of the possession. The efficiency across the board highlights exactly why his numbers stand out. He's not a volume scorer or high usage creator, but he's giving the team clean possessions, smart decisions, and steady defensive production. His shooting efficiency is strong, his passing fits his role, his ball security helps stabilize the offense, and his defensive stats highlight how much he contributes on that end. When you combine the scoring, the efficiency, the team impact metrics, the ball handling, the rebounding, and the defensive influence, the story becomes pretty clear. Jake LaRavia is playing composed, efficient, and high-value basketball. He's a role player who makes the most of every touch, brings defensive activity, and finishes possessions without wasting movement. Every stat reinforces how well he fits into his team's rotations and how consistently he's contributing across all areas of the game. But lastly, Marcus Smart's season has been built on impact that shows up everywhere except the places most people usually look first. He's scoring 9.3 points per game, which places him ahead of more than 57% of players. And even though the raw scoring isn't huge, the value of what he brings starts becoming obvious the moment you dig into the rest of the numbers. His points per field goal sit at 1.0, built from 1.9 made 2-pointers and 1.1 made threes on 7.4 attempts. That gives him an effective field goal percentage of 48.5%, ranking ahead of more than 27% of players. It's not elite efficiency, but it fits the role he plays as a connective scorer rather than a volume shooter. His true shooting percentage rises to 55.1%, placing him ahead of more than 38% of players. He's taking 7.4 shots and 2.3 free throws per game, turning those into 1.1 points per scoring attempt. That number reflects a player who isn't searching for high volume scoring. He's using his attempts to keep rhythm, finish clean looks, and keep the offensive spacing function. He's never been the type to dominate possessions with his scoring, and the numbers show he's maintaining his usual balance. Where Smart becomes unbelievably impactful is in the advanced impact categories. His mixed teamwork metric ranks ahead of more than 97% of players. And when you look inside that metric, the picture becomes even clearer. His offensive rating sits at 118.3. His defense rating sits at 108.3. And that gives him a net rating of plus 10.0. That is elite impact. He's posting a positive plus minus in 85.7% of his games, easily one of the highest marks across starting level guards. His on-off number of plus 7.7 reinforces that when he's on the floor, the team looks significantly stronger on both sides. These numbers show exactly why coaches love playing him. He brings a stabilizing, high IQ presence that lifts everyone around him. His ball handling metric ranks ahead of more than 71% of players. Smart has always been more of a playmaker than a scorer, and this season is no different. He's averaging 2.9 assists and 1.9 turnovers, which gives him a steady, controlled approach as a handler. His assist percentage sits at 14.14%, placing him ahead of more than 58% of players. He's assisting 6.8 points per game, and while that number doesn't jump off the page, it's the way he makes those passes that matters. They're timely, they're in rhythm, and they consistently create advantages. His turnover percentage sits at 18.62%, ranking higher than only 16% of players. And while that looks high, it's mostly because he handles a lot of tough possessions late in clocks or against pressure. His overall ball control still fits what his team needs from him. Defensively, Smart remains a force. His mixed team defense metric ranks ahead of more than 80% of players, and he's producing 1.8 steals, 0.3 blocks, and 1.6 defensive rebounds per game. The team defensive efficiency with him on the floor sits at 108.3, which is excellent. Smart's ability to pressure handlers, read passing lanes, and anticipate actions remains elite. The steal rate alone shows how disruptive he's still capable of being, and the overall defensive metrics support that he's still one of the best guard defenders in the league at generating pressure and controlling possession. His usage rate is 16.5%, ranking ahead of more than 43% of players. That usage includes 7.4 field goal attempts, 2.3 free throws, 2.9 assists, and 1.9 turnovers across 56.7 possessions per game. His role has never been about dominating touches. Instead, he fits into the possession flow by handling pressure, initiating sets, spacing the floor, attacking gaps, and finding the right pass when defenses collapse. His usage reflects the fact that he's a connector, not a high-volume engine, and the numbers show he's making that role as valuable as possible. When you look across the stat line, the theme becomes obvious. Smart's value is rooted in impact, not volume. His shooting efficiency is modest, but his scoring still beats more than half the league. His true shooting is steady, his passing is controlled, and his ball handling is strong enough to place him ahead of more than 70% of players. His defensive metrics are elite, and his mixed teamwork numbers show he's one of the most impactful players in the league when it comes to improving team performance on both ends. His plus 10.0 net rating highlights exactly why his presence matters so much. That number is built through a combination of strong offensive decision-making, tough on-ball defense, sharp rotations, and a mentality that always leans toward making the correct basketball play. Very few players with single-digit scoring averages produce this level of impact, and the numbers confirm just how rare that combination is. Smart remains one of the league's premier glue players. His shooting keeps possessions alive, his passing keeps structure intact, his defense disrupts actions at the point of attack, and his overall impact metrics show that he's helping his team win possessions at a high rate. Every category reinforces the same conclusion. He's still one of the most reliable, impactful guards in basketball, even without heavy scoring volume. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.